Welcome everyone to Laurentian Valley Council meeting, regular meeting for May 21. I'd like to start off with the Lord's Prayer. May anybody wish to join me do so, please remain seated. Our Father, Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Dean, call the order, please.
Mayor Bennett.
Present.
Reeve Watt.
Present.
Councillor Gauthier.
Present.
Councillor Hewitt.
Present.
Councillor Hughley.
Present.
Councillor King.
Present.
Councillor Wren.
Present.
All members present.
So, that's that one. We don't do that one? Or we
No,
do
oh, that was a motion, yeah, motion. Yeah, should do.
that? Motion call the order.
Yeah.
Alan and Jennifer.
Moved by Councillor Wren, second by Councillor Gauthier, that the regular council meeting of May 21st, 2024 be called to order at 5:30.
All in favor? Carried. Confirmation of the agenda. Wendy and Brian.
Moved by Councillor Hewitt, second by Councillor Hughley, that the agenda of the regular council meeting of May 21st, 2024 be approved as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Declaration of peculiar interest, seeing none. Minutes and notes, approval of April 16th, regular council meetings. Keith and Betty.
Moved by Reeve Watt, second by Councillor King, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held April 16th, 2024 be approved as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Motion for approval of May 7th minutes. Wendy and Alan.
Moved by Councillor Hewitt, second by Councillor Wren, that the minutes of the council and committee meeting held May 7th, 2024 be accepted by council and that the resolutions from that committee become resolutions of council.
All in favor? Carried. Delegations. Mr. Sutcliffe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tonight we have the Stafford Park Committee here to present to you their financials from last year and their budget and goals for this coming year. Tonight we have Tim Sutcliffe, the president of Stafford Park Committee, Lisa Campitelli, the treasurer of the committee, and Donald Peltier, the property maintenance of the committee.
Welcome to Laurentian Valley Council.
Hello.
Hi, Tim.
Hi. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know if I put it on here. We are getting new rug for the building. The Permit Tile has donated a rug for us. We just paid to have it installed, so that's about a $4,500 donation that they've given us. So actually, we got all the old rug out in the weekend, and they're putting the new stuff in, next weekend? Yeah, or this weekend. Mm-hmm. Other than that, our euchre that we started, 2 years ago now? It's been very successful. We get about 24 to 30 people in there. It gets pretty loud, but it's lots of fun, and it's gone over well. Like, brought in $1,800 this year, so that's $1,800 in. And the hall's being rented more and more because of the park facilities. You know, people they have like birthday parties and stuff like that for the kids and stuff. So it's actually a lot. The splash pad has been the gem that's made the difference on everything. You know, so.
And that's up and running, Tim?
Yeah. Full of kids on the weekend. So. What is the rent for? We put it up to $100. Yeah. Well, it's $75 and $25 to clean it because it's just, you know, you got to go back in and clean it and so on and so forth. So vacuum and.
Just for the record, Tim, what's the occupancy in there? Like how many?
40.
40.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Any questions for council for the group? I can't let them off that easy. No, that's good. Thanks for the budget and all the work that you guys do at Stafford. It's, over the last few years, it's really blossomed, and especially with the splash pad and the work you guys do. So much appreciated by all, and I'm sure all by the taxpayers that use it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, we also have the Four Seasons Trail Committee presenting their financials of '23 and their budget and goals for 2024. Today, we have Mark Bean, he's the president of the committee, Rick Krantz, he's a director on the committee, and Charlene Krantz, she's also a director on the committee.
Rick's in charge of crowd control.
Welcome, Charlene, to council, and welcome, Mark.
Thank you. So we did a quick little budget report, and it's just kind of some summary of what we do with at the Four Seasons Trail. In the report, we just kind of put a little bit of information about our group. We are, I think, one of the only rec groups in the township that we are an actual registered not-for-profit corporation. So we had some help from Sheldon Reiki to do that, and it was about a year process, but that was effective January 1, 2023. So we're just over a year as an actual not-for-profit corporation. So I think when it comes to getting grants and funding, it can possibly give us some opportunities in the future. So it was a nice achievement for our group to have that. Our executive has exercises general supervision, direction over the interest of the corporation, with an emphasis on good character and citizenship. Our trail was established in 2018, and at that time it was under an umbrella of the township, and really our first year we didn't know what was going to happen, where it's going to go, and it's been a pretty neat success story, and to think that we're not that far off from 10-year anniversary, so it's been a good little adventure. So for 2024, a couple of major projects that we're focusing on is, and we'll have some more information on it later, but we are going to be adding a 9-hole disc golf course, and we'll talk about funding and a little bit of that later on. So, but the idea was something we've talked about a few years ago, but it'll basically use skating trail, snowshoe trail, but we'll have a 9-hole disc golf course with possibly the opportunity to expand, but we'll start with 9 holes and see what the interest is, and that'll give, I think, give users something else to do in the summertime, aside from walking and from a few events. It's pretty quiet in the summer, so we're hoping this will draw a big demographic of people to come. So there's one in Killaloe, Haggerty, Richards, and I think it's the only other one in Renfrew County, so it'd be hopefully nice that give a course for other people to play on. So it seems to be very popular. It seems to be a lot of interest in it. So hopefully it catches on, as maybe not as well as the skating, but hopefully it catches on as well as the skating did. Our second is just some continued improvements in the lodge. I know we did fix up sort of the main part, but we still have the rough concrete flooring, and our washroom facilities are in pretty tough shape. So we have a few soft spots in the floor where it's essentially the carpet that's carrying the weight of the people right now. There is no subfloor left, so we're going to focus on trying to get some of that stuff fixed up. And I know it's only sort of a bit of a, I'll say, bubblegum approach, but until we get some funding, and we're probably $250,000 to put a level, accessible washroom facility, it's a pretty big expense. So until there's some grant money for that, we're going to try anyway to piece the washrooms together and keep them going. So I do have a bit of a spreadsheet put together. So it has our actuals for 2023. As you can see in our donations and fundraising between Halloween event and skating and fundraising, we do quite well on our fundraising and local businesses and community and residents and the tourism that brings in. It does bring a lot to the trails, so that is a big part of our funding. All of our actuals are there. I left in bar sales and canteen sales. It was something that we thought we were going to start in 2023, but it just we hadn't seen the hall rentals, and even now our hall rental for 24. We've probably had almost 15 hall rentals already, which has far exceeded what we had last year. But there's, again, really no interest in a liquor license. It's showers, it's birthday parties, there's not a lot. So right now, we're probably not going to explore that. If people want to use a building, use a special location permit or something, but for now, we're going to hold off on the liquor license. It's $1,200 for our initial application, and then it's the bar stock, and if it's sitting there, it's going to potentially expire before it's used. So for now, we're not going to explore that, and we can see what it brings in the future. And then again, all the expenses are there. It's fairly comparable to what it was in '23. And then we are, if it goes according to plan, we'll be about a $35,000 closing balance if the events and things go as well as they did in previous years. I did a couple little pie charts just to sort of break up some of the expenses. So with the building and property, we've already installed a new wood stove this year, so we replaced the original wood stove to the building, so a lot safer and has a glass door, so it adds to the atmosphere. We've already did some electrical upgrades in the building a little bit this year as well. And then we do have, like I said, the flooring, building renovations. We want to keep adding to the lighting that we've added along the trail. You know, with the Halloween event and the winter event, we've added a lot more overhead lighting along the trail, so it just gives a different effect. And we can change the color, we can change what it does, so I want to add on to that. And then just continue with some site improvements. And then our disc golf would be our other major expense. And then on the revenue side, really it's between our donations and fundraising, and then the municipal grant that we receive annually. Those are our two. So, and then like I said, we do have, we increased our rentals. We have done well with groups not using it this year, so hopefully that continues and that continues on. So I'd just like to thank council for their continued support of our trail, and I guess our initial crazy idea of what we thought, and yeah, we have an election. We're going to set a date in June for a new executive. We have 5 members on our executive now, so we're in the process of finalizing a revised constitution, changing a few things from a couple of years ago when we started, and hopefully we can draw a few new people onto our executive.
Great, Mark, thank you very much. Any questions? Brian?
So the disc golf, are you going to have discs available for people to loan, like a bag? Because there's ones that'll curve left and right.
Yes,
and
yeah.
distance
So
and all that.
Chris Neff, who works with the township now, he was involved in setting up the one in Killaloo, and so he's offered some support with it. But they actually just have basically a crate of them at the trailhead, and it's an honor system where you sort of take the 2 or 3 that you need and you bring them back after, and they've never had any issues with it. So there are some other ideas. You know, when we were at the Pembroke Community Expo, a gentleman showed us something that they were looking to start using in minor hockey, where sometimes when you go to those fast food or pizza express places, you put in your code, the door opens, and your pizza's in there. Well, they're doing something like that for the tablets for the scorekeeping for the hockey. And so that's a potential option if we were having issues with them being stolen or wanted some more security. Basically, you go put in your code, take your discs out. We would know who had them, so if they don't return, you get them back. So I think we'll try the honor system for now. We put our skating aids out 7 days a week. We're not always there. We've never had one walk away. So I think people are pretty good about it and respectful. So we'll try that to start anyway, and hopefully it works well.
No, that's good to get the full experience. It's nice to have the right things, so that's good that
Yes.
you're doing that.
There's more logistics to work out, so there'll be more to follow.
Yeah.
Betty?
How did the expo go? What kind of a response did you get there?
It was good. There
Yeah.
was a lot of people that I guess we found out that disc golf is very popular in Western Canada. A lot of people that had been there and
BC.
moved there, yeah. And we even had someone from BC who was at the show, and
There's actually two
yeah.
different people from BC.
that they were, so yeah, so I think that we had one of the disc golf baskets in our tent, so people were pretty excited about that coming, and lots of people who've enjoyed the trail and did experience it. We had probably 3 or 4 people that we had sign up for volunteers to help us out with events, so some of them really geared towards the Halloween event, which is good, because it's a big event to put on, and having some people who have that passion for Halloween, it's good to have. So it was a really, really good experience. I know, I talked to staff when we got back there. I think that would be a show, a little bit off topic from this, would it be an interest to have a township booth in? It was surprising the number of people who would move to Laurentian Valley in the last 4 to 6 months and just wanted general information and couldn't believe we had a skating trail here and hadn't heard about it yet and were excited to come. But yeah, a lot of people that were, I guess, new, not just in the township, but new to the area, and just basically trying to find service clubs and things to do. It was a good show.
So the tractor, is there a possibility of that tractor staying for the next winter, or how's that?
Yes,
Very
Hopefully
actually,
a few years.
yes.
And just,
More to come.
Yeah, we're just trying to finalize some details with it. It actually, the tractor left today to go back to the dealership, and they're putting a mower deck on for us. So they took one of the attachments back that we weren't using, and it'll have a mower deck on it. So it'll have a
Nice.
5-foot mower that we can use for the ball diamonds at Allison Fraser, and we can cut the grass around the lodge and the building. So I would think probably by the end of this year, early part of next year, we'll kind of figure out how we're going to either keep the tractor or we'll figure that out. But for now, it's ours. We're allowed to use it. It's been
Nice.
a donation to us, and it's, again, huge
amazing
asset
opportunity, great,
for Huckle Bones
Hucklebones
to
has
do that
been
for us.
very generous.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, council? Thanks very much for the presentation. Thank you for the volunteers of your group. You do a fabulous job out there, and once again, it's great to have people like you in our township to put on the functions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, down to reports, CAO's report. Anything for Dean? Keith?
Just a comment, I see lots of action with hydro poles there on 148 down that stretch, and hopefully that's going to pick up and have it finished in a
Well,
short
I don't
time.
know how much it'll pick up. It certainly is progress. I guess they have to do this, and they are some big poles, there's no doubt about it. So, they are working at that, so that's certainly progress anyway. I mean, it's slow, but it's coming.
They're setting a record of how many poles they can have in a short distance right now. Yeah, they've a lot of people working there for sure. Yeah, it's an indication that something that we were told that it has to be done before MTO construction can start, so at least they're on it, and they should have it done this year. Okay, nothing else? Treasurer's report from Sean? Anything for Sean? Seeing none. Public Works, Mark? Anything for Mark? Seeing none. Laurie's report? Nothing more to add. I know you're very busy. Laurie in the planning, for sure. And then, yes. Go ahead, Laurie.
Just if I might, just one item I wanted to spotlight. So I did send some comments back in on behalf of the township. They were very short period that the province had on the latest Planning Act changes. The one comment I did kind of make note of in particular is they are looking again to remove appeal ability for official plan amendments and zoning bylaw amendments. So the comment that I did put forward was just that, again, that reflecting some of our earlier comments, remain concerned about that and perhaps the lack of broader public notification that this would be a whole radical change in terms of the system, in terms of what people are able to do. So it would put more of a burden on municipal councils in terms of watching out for challenges to jurisdictional court on points of law. But we'll see how that comes through. There is some indication that the current changes, they might be trying to push kind of fast, so we'll see how that goes. But that was one substantive change of note. And then also the potential undoing, which would be a good thing, of the refund of fees. So there's a few things they're backtracking on, which would be positive.
Thanks, Laurie. Okay, mayor's report, I just have a verbal one. Month of April and May, I did complete with Dean and brought back to council a number of times, and we passed the library agreement, so we have that done. I joined Wendy at city, with the city and fire hall for the presentation of the breakfast that the firefighters put on. I think it was $2,500, Wendy. So partaking of that, I was at the Waste Recovery Center towards the end of April. I did mention last meeting that Dean and I met with John Yakubowski and MTO. I did give you a bit of an update on it last time. I haven't heard anything more, Dean.
Nothing.
I know that they are going to do another traffic study, maybe confirm that, Dean, of Quebec turnoff. Is that at some point this summer?
Well, they're saying that they will do another study, because I mean, the warrants are still not there, but they're seeing if there's an increase, and they're not prepared to soften their position, even if they're close to the warrants, because their argument now is saying that there's lots of places in the province that are close to the warrants, but they don't do them, so they wouldn't be doing ours. We tried to make the argument, well, you're reconstructing the road. So they are supposedly gonna put stuff in the ground that, you know, if it happens to meet warrants in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, or 10 years, it'll be in the ground. Mark did point out saying maybe you should be putting the conduits across there too, so we don't have to be ripping. So whether they take that into consideration or not, I don't know, but they certainly dug their heels in. They will not be doing anything more at the Quebec turn.
So yeah, I guess we'll just continue to follow up on that. I did meet with folks from Community Living last week for a picture for Community Living, or for a picture for hanging the flag for Community Living Month, month of May. Had our first meeting last week with Sean and Councillors Wren and Reeve Watt, with Dean and Mark and Brad for the asset management start, and seems interesting, a lot of information, but we're going to work through it. We also met with staff in the city of Pembroke regarding the CN line in the corridor from through Pembroke and Laurentian Valley with the owners, and we're working on some details there. Brian was there as well to see what's going to happen with that, and we'll bring that back to council. And that's all I've got. Any questions? Dean, have a motion?
Yeah, mover and second, please.
Keith and Wendy?
Moved by Reeve Watt, second by Councillor Hewitt, that the council receive the following reports for mid-April 2024 to mid-May 2024 at the regular council meeting of May 21st, 2024. CO's report, treasurer's report, public work manager's report, planner CMC report, and the mayor's report.
All in favor? Carried. Public meeting, motion to open up public meeting. Alan and Betty?
Moved by Councillor Wren, second by Councillor King, that the Council of Township of Laurentian Valley pursuant to sections 30, of the Planning Act hereby declare a public meeting open at 5:55 p.m. to discuss the zoning bylaw amendment file number Z 2023-14 resubmitted Greenwood Paving Quarry French Hill Traxton Holdings.
All in favor? Carried. Turn it over to you, Laurie.
Okay, so this is the second public meeting related to the zoning bylaw amendment for the Traxton Holdings Greenwood Paving Quarry on the extension would be of Dix Road. So the application was resubmitted, and this is the formal public meeting for that resubmission, and it's a still file number Z 2023-14. And the purpose of the amendment is to rezone the lands to permit the use of the subject lands for a quarry and associated uses, including the reblending of recycled asphalt and other materials. The application was resubmitted to include a requested additional exception to also reduce the minimum required landscaped open space from 30 meters to 15 meters from any zone other than an industrial zone. So there's a corresponding application for official plan amendment number 19, file number O-2020-301, which has been adopted by council and has been forwarded to the County of Brantford, which is the approval authority for official plan amendments. And the corresponding application is also in place with the Ministry of Natural Resources, and that's ERO number 0194948 and the Environmental Registry of Ontario website. So the effect of the amendment would rezone the lands from rural to extractive industrial exception 7 holding, and this would establish exceptions to permit the reblending of the recycled asphalt and other material for resale as an accessory use to a permitted quarry, and establish a minimum landscaped open space of 15 meters to any zone other than an industrial zone. So the principle of development will be established by the rezoning, and the holding zone would remain in place until all of the following have been addressed. The corresponding official plan amendment, OPA number 19, has been approved by the County of Renfrew and is in effect. The approvals from MNRF related to the application for license under the Aggregate Resources Act are finalized. An agreement is entered into with the township for the extension of Dix Road, and any additional items identified by council as part of the condition for removal of the holding symbol are met. So the lands that are affected by the amendment are shown on the map that's on the screen, and located within Part Lot 12, Concession 3, in the geographic township of Stafford in the Township of Laurentian Valley. So the lands are currently on an unopened portion of Township Road allowance that connects to Dix Road, with access to the property being proposed through an extension to Dix Road. Again, information has remained available for any members of the public to view at the township office or by contacting the township. And again, in order to preserve rights of appeal at this point, you still need to make comments prior to a decision being made, and they can be made either verbally or in writing. And again, it is a necessity to maintain for the Ontario Land Tribunal appeal rights. It is also public meeting, and so therefore anything that is provided is part of the public record, and that includes names and contact information and the particulars of what you've provided as information as part of the public record. And again, it is the notice having been issued as a combined notice of application, and a public meeting was issued on May the 1st. We do have a sign-in board as well. If anybody who is present that would like to receive further notice, they can sign the sign-in board before they leave as well. So in terms of the recirculation, we did not receive any additional comments from any members of the public or any other public bodies. Any comments that had been received as part of the first application had been addressed to their satisfaction, and that there were some comments on the initial circulation from the Trans-Canada Pipeline Group, and they were satisfied that with the notes that were added to the site plan, which is part of the Aggregate Resource Act approval process, and then with the existing provisions that are in place in our zoning that address their considerations. There still are processes ongoing related to the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan First Nation. That is through the licensing process. So by moving forward, we do have a holding symbol in place that is tied to that process as well. And just as a further note for council, we did receive the package from the County of Renfrew so that we know that they did approve the official plan amendment, but the last day for appeal is still the end of the day tomorrow, so that is still technically not in effect as of yet.
Thanks, Larry. Any questions of council? Keith?
I have a couple of questions. First off, will that road be paved from the pit right down through to the intersection of Mixburg Road?
So again, I believe that there is a proposal that's being worked towards that would likely be paved, but our public works manager could speak to that. The way that the process would work is the additional details related to the requirements for the road construction would come out as one of the conditions for removal of the holding symbol. There would also be an agreement entered into with the township for that, but perhaps our public works manager might be able to assist.
Yeah, so in reviewing the traffic report that the consultant has completed, they are noting to reconstruct the road, and the gravel portion would be reconstructed in the granular base, and there is proposed to be 3 lifts of asphalt on the entire road, so that would remove the half load or reduced load in the spring. So essentially from Mixburg Road right through to the quarry would be 3 lifts of paved asphalt.
Okay, thank you, because I was just asking a question on behalf of, I guess, a few inquiries that we've had in the past on the condition of that lower road.
Yeah.
And whatever, so thank you for that. In terms of public consultation, was there actual signage out there for those residents to see and be aware of?
Yes, so I can actually attest to that because I did have to go out and at the first round tramp through a snowbank, and then I did go and repost for the recirculation as well. So because you can't actually get to the property, we did post at both ends. So I posted the signage at the end of the unopened road allowance where it would meet Stafford Third Line, and I also posted as far as basically our municipal road goes on Dix Road, so there were signage that were posted along with a map showing the location. And it was also available on our website as well, and we did do with the mailouts for all the properties within 120 meters.
Thank you.
Alan?
And there's no plan for them to go out to Stafford Third Line? The plan is to come down Dix Road to 41, correct?
Yes, absolutely. There's no plan for it to open the unopened row allowance and going towards the Stafford Third Line. That would also involve crossing over the Trans-Canada pipeline as well too, which also would have brought in some other complexities. But yes, the proposal is entirely that we've reviewed with the traffic impact study being towards the extension of Dix Road.
Okay, Dean, we have a motion.
I do.
Jennifer and Alan?
Moved by Councillor Gauthier, second by Councillor Wren. The council approves the application for zoning bylaw amendment, file number Z 2023-14, resubmitted Greenwood Paving Quarry, French Hill, Traxton Holdings Limited. Subject to a certain condition, removal of the holding still being established by council resolution and forwards bylaw 2024-05-031 as presented to the bylaw portion of the regular council meeting of May 21st, 2024 for enactment. The council requires that prior to the removal of holding cinema on land zone EME7H, that the following condition be addressed. The township is notified by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry that the aggregate license has been approved in principle, that the OPA number 19 is in effect, that the traffic impact study, TIS, is completed to the satisfaction of the township public works manager, and that the agreement is entered into between the property owner and the township for the extension of Dix Road to be required as a municipal road standard at a cost to the property owner, or at a cost to the property owner, and to implement the recommendations of the TIS.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, motion to adjourn the public planning meeting, Keith and Brian.
Moved by Reeve Watt, second by Councillor Ugly, that the Council of Township of Laurentian Valley hereby declare a public meeting, May 21st, 2024, be adjourned at 6 p.m.
All in favor? Carried. Under business, we have Jackson subdivision. Lori.
Yes, so what we have before council is a draft of the subdivision agreement that would be in substantially the form as attached that was circulated to council. If there are any changes, it would be subject to the approval of the township solicitor who was involved with the drafting of the agreement. It has been circulated to the developer property owners as well. So we don't expect that there would be anything substantially changing, but just in case there is anything, it would be through the township solicitor. Again, this is for Traxton subdivision, and this just shows the layout of the 22 lot plan and where it's located off of Highway 148, and shows the road names that would come into place as well, just to locate that for people.
Any questions? Keith?
Just for my own understanding, Block 26, what is it for? It goes out to Highway 148?
Block 26. Sorry, just trying to locate it here.
Just to your left.
It's on your left side, quarter way up, halfway up?
Right at the end of Street B. Street B to the left.
To the left.
Left side, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was seeing 25. Yes, 26. So that would be one of the many 1 foot reserves. So what the 1 foot reserve is, it's essentially another piece of land that's between lands and a road, so that it, by putting a 1 foot reserve there, it means that you don't have frontage on that road, so it blocks any potential for access to be via that way. So that's where, so both, I guess all three, block 24, 25, and 26 would have been required by the Ministry of Transportation, so that there's no direct access from the subdivision other than through the roads to the highway. So nobody would be able to petition for an entrance.
Okay, thank you.
Apologies for locating that.
So what, block 23 and remainder of the existing Traction Way? So that's,
Oh, so for those are just for what the road names will be. So when the subdivision is completely built out and the roads are built out. Block 23 will still remain the private road that's known as Traxton Way, but the front part will change names so that we have a consistent way in. And I realized that this one had the former name, so it's Plummer's Way that is that name. So apologies for that. We had the wrong. The first draft that they had provided of the road names. So, but they have been approved previously by council, so the road names are not as shown on here.
Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions? Seeing none, Dean, we have a motion?
Yep. Mover and seconder, please.
Betty and Jennifer?
Moved by Counselor King, second by Counselor Gauthier. The council authorized the mayor and the CEO to enter into a subdivision agreement with Traxton Holdings Limited to satisfy the conditions of draft plan approval for Traxton subdivision file number 47T 10,004 and for bylaw 2024-05-032 as it presented to the bylaw portion of May 21st, 2024 regular council meeting for passing.
All in favor? Okay. So Kent, you and your family, it's great to have you guys on board here and great to have new development in our township, and I congratulate you for that and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Look forward to it too.
Okay, next item is the animal report. Any questions on the report? Brian?
Do we have any details on the dog attack?
No, I do not. I can certainly circle back. Normally, they're pretty good. I don't anticipate there was any real issue with it, other than straightforward, but I don't have anything more to report, because normally they would certainly approach us. It was something that was, you know, loaded with whatever it is, so fortunately, I don't have anything at this point.
Okay.
Keith?
Just a comment, I read somewhere that if a person owns a dog that may be a little bit vicious or skeptic around strangers, if the owner was to put a yellow tag around its collar, that would caution other people to stay clear of that dog and not approach it. And I just thought I'd mention that and pass it out, that maybe it will become something that will really catch on, so.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else on that? Okay, if not, River County ATV Club?
This is just for information at this point. We have been in communication with the actual ATV clubs, mainly the Whitewater group, who's now using the portion. So we're talking about the portion between the one we just purchased between Hawthorne Lane heading towards the Quebec crossing through Whitewater. They are using the Whitewater one, having a lease agreement with them. We're working on the same lease agreement that's what's there. Sheldon, our solicitor, has reviewed it. We just haven't had time to kind of put the report together for them to use it, but I'm just putting it forward. So if you get a chance to read it, if there's any major concerns, please let me know. If not, we'll be presenting it at one of the next meetings to kind of lease it to the actual ATV clubs, and the local one here will be also using, the Renfrew County group will be using it as well as the Whitewater group. So they're basically using it to the point where it contacts the Algonquin Trail. That's where they want that space between those two. So at this point, it's just information, but it will be coming back. So that's what that's there for.
Okay, Al?
Kind of not really related to the lease, but is there a plan to do something with the top of that trail, like has been done in the Algonquin Trail moving forward? And if so, any plans on how it's going to get paid for or who would pay for it?
So we're very preliminary in this. We've had a contact with the county. We are getting, there's been an MOU being drafted now to see how that's going to materialize as to, you know, who's going to maintain it, who's going to run it. There's conversations that maybe we transfer it to them for $1 and they do it from the county perspective. That doesn't exclude us from kind of jumping in and helping out, and maybe as a party agreement between the OFSC, the ATVers, the county and ourselves and Whitewater, that we'll do some surface treatment at that point. We're not there yet, so we'll be coming back with that as well.
Okay, anything else? Again, just for information. Down to bylaws.
Mover and seconder, please.
Keith and Brian.
Moved by Reeve Watts, second by Councillor Hughley, that the following bylaws be enacted, passed, and be read a first, second, and third time, and be numbered and signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in this bylaw book this 21st day of May 2024. Bylaw 2024-05030, zoning bylaw amendment Z 2024-04, green consent, B 123. Bylaw 2024-05031, zoning bylaw amendment Z 2023-14, Greenwood paving, French Hill Quarry, Traxton. Bylaw 2024-05032, to authorize the entering into a subdivision agreement, Traxton Holdings, subdivision file number 47T 10004. Bylaw 2024-05033, to set 2024 tax and wastewater rates. Bylaw 2024-05034, to authorize Pembroke Public Library Agreement 2024 to 2027.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Council comments? Dean?
No, that,
Keith?
I'll just start by saying that I've had a couple grandchildren up for the last week and a half, and we visited the Elgin Street Park several times. Met several people there, very happy about the park. They love the equipment, and they said to say hello to Nevada and thank her very much for her input there. And it's incredible the amount of use that that park is getting. It really is. They covered the gravel that was there with the bark, and it makes it a whole lot more enjoyable for them and for their children. So I just thought I'd pass that on to Nevada. And
Okay. Thank you. Betty?
And I apologize if I mispronounced the name. I did a grand opening at Divine Fellowship, is that correct? On Saturday.
Good to be.
Great bunch of people, lovely to have them in the community, and the knowledge they have on the crystals and the rocks, you have to go in there, because I knew nothing about any of it, and I come out of there with more information than I ever thought I'd know. So if you have a chance to stop in there, they're at 1200 Pembroke Street, just across from M&R Feeds, so if you have a chance to stop by, please do.
Good. Thanks for attending that, Betty, for me, too. Anybody else?
what is this?
Keith?
On behalf of the county, just Mountain Road is going to be having a rehab done and starting where did I have that here? From any time after May 27th till the end of June, they're going to be working on that from Stafford Third Line out to Highway 17. And then the Peter Black Bridge that is on Mud Lake Road, they're going to be starting that, and it's going to be a complete rehab. And it's going to be anywhere from June till October. So in that time frame, that's the best I can tell. And picking up from a question from our last meeting, Lori advised that if you go into County Renfrew, just County of Renfrew, 511, it'll take you to any of the updates online for that, or just construction information in Renfrew County. It'll do the same thing. So if you're interested at all, that's where to go.
Right on. Thank you.
Just a question on that. I think the last time there was a comment about the bridge on County Road 24 as well. Any update on when that's going to be done and where they're going to reroute the traffic?
That's the Peter Black bridge that I was speaking to. Yeah,
that's
and
County Road
there was
24.
nothing on that presentation that said whether it was going to be reduced to one lane or whatever. So if I get that information, I'll pass it on.
Thank you.
That's it? Okay. Note and file?
mover and second.
Jennifer, Betty?
Moved by Counselor Gauthier, second by Counselor King, that any items not specifically addressed by motion of council in the regular council meeting of May 21st, 2024 be noted and filed accordingly.
All in favor? Carried. Confirmatory bylaw. Wendy and Brian.
Moved by Counselor Hewitt, second by Counselor Hughley, that be resolved that the Council of Township of Laurentian Valley approves confirmatory bylaw 2024-05035 as having been introduced, read a first, second, and third time, and the said bylaw be numbered and signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation this 21st day of May 2024.
All in favor? Carried. Adjournment. Alan and Brian.
Moved by Counselor Wren, second by Counselor Hughley, that the regular council meeting of May 21st, 2024 be Adjourned at 6:15.
All in favor? Carried. There we go.
Good job.